Good morning everyone. In today's class we'll discuss about the concept of time of supply under GST. First, what is time of supply? The time of supply means the point in time when the goods or services are considered to be supplied. It is the time when the supply has been made. Why time of supply is important? Because it enables the registered person to understand when the liability of tax payment has arisen. Basically the point of taxation. Now we'll discuss the time of supply in two parts. First we'll discuss the determination of time of supply in case of goods, and in the next section we'll discuss about the time of supply in case of services. Now the first one, the time of supply of goods under forward charge. What do you mean by forward charge? When in case of supply the supplier is a registered person, in that case that supplier is liable for paying GST under forward charge. Now to determine the time of supply of goods under forward charge, we will consider 4 dates, and the date which will be the earlier is the time of supply of goods. The first date we'll consider is the date of issue of invoice, the date when the invoice is issued. And the second we'll consider the last date of issue of invoice under section 31. Under section 31 the last date of issue of invoice is given. Just to brief, we already discussed this topic, but just to remind this, due date for issue of invoice by the supplier in case of non-continuous supply involves movement. The time of removal of goods for supply will be the last date of issue of invoice. In case of non-continuous supply, the delivery of goods or the time when the goods are making available to the recipient will be the time of supply. In case of continuous supply, the date when the statement of account is issued or the payment is received. When there is sale on approval basis, the time of supply will be the earlier of time at which it becomes known that the supply has taken place, or 6 months from the date of removal. The important point to be noted is where payment is received in advance. In that case, the supplier issue a receipt voucher, not a tax invoice. So while determining time of supply, we'll consider date of issue of invoice. Second, the last date of issue of invoice under section 31. The date on which payment is recorded in the books of accounts of the supplier, and the date on which the payment is credited to the supplier's bank account. So the date which is earliest of the all 4 dates will be the time of supply of goods under forward charge. In case of excess payment of up to 1000 is received in respect of any invoice, the supplier can choose to take the date of invoice issued with respect to such excess amount as the time of supply of goods for such excess value. For example, company X receives an advance of 50,000 on 30th April, against which it dispatches goods worth rupees 49,200 under invoice dated 5th May. In this example, the company X received 800 rupees in advance, which can't be considered as payment for the present invoice. Now the company X has the choice to adjust this excess amount in the next supply. So the time of supply for 800 can be taken as date of next invoice if the supplier chooses to adjust this against the next invoice. For determining the the time of supply, we'll discuss one case. A machine has to be supplied at site. It is done by sourcing various components from vendors and assembling the machine at site. The details of various events are: on 17 September, purchase order with advance of 50,000 is received for goods worth rupees 12 lakh and entry duly made in the seller's books of accounts. On 20th October, the machine is assembled, tested at site and accepted by the buyer. On 23rd October, invoice raised, and on 4th November, balance payment of 11,50,000 received. In this scenario, it is under forward charge. So, for determining the time of supply, again we will consider date, the date of issue of invoice. In this case, the date of issue of invoice is 23rd October. The second is last date of issue of invoice, or the last date of issue of invoice is the date when goods is available to the buyer. So 20th October is the last date of issue of invoice. The next date is the date when payment is received is 4th November. In this case, we'll consider 3 days: 20th October, 23rd October and 4th November. The earliest is the 20th October. In this case, the time of supply will be 20th October. The another case is in case of continuous supply. For example, the gas is supplied by a pipeline. Monthly payments are made by the recipient as per contract. Every quarter, invoice is issued by the supplier, supported by a statement of the goods dispatched and payments made, and the recipient has to pay the differential amount. The details of various events are: August 5, September 5, October 6, payment of rupees 2 lakhs made in each month. Statement of account issued by the supplier with invoice for quarter July to September is October 3rd, and on October 17, differential payment of 56,000 received by the supplier for the quarter July-September as per statement of accounts. Since this is a continuous supply, we'll consider the date when statement of account is issued and the date when payment is received. In this case, the statement of account is issued on 3rd October. The payment is received on 17 October. So time of supply will be earliest, that is 3rd October. In the another case is time of supply of goods under reverse charge. Reverse charge means where the supplier is an unregistered person and the liability to pay tax is of the recipient. In this case, the recipient is the registered person. While determining time of supply of goods under reverse charge, we'll consider again 4 dates. The first date, the date on which goods are received by the recipient. Second, the date on which payment is recorded in the books of accounts of the recipient. The third date, the date when payment is debited from the bank account of the recipient. And the fourth one is 31st day from the issue of invoice by the supplier. Let's take an example for determination of time of supply under reverse charge. May 4, supplier invoices goods taxable on reverse charge basis to Bridge & Company. 31st day from the date of issue of invoice by the supplier is June 4th. On May 4th, supplier invoices goods taxable on reverse charge basis. On May 12, Bridge and Company receives the goods. On May 30, Bridge and Company makes the payment. In this case, we have 3 dates: May 4, May 12 and May 30th. The earliest date is May 4. In this case, the time of supply will be, we will consider here not the date when supplier issue invoice, we will consider the date. 31st day is 4th June, goods received on May 12th and payment made on May 30th. Earliest is the May 12th, so in this case the time of supply will be May 12th. Now the next case is for your practice. In case of time of supply of vouchers exchangeable for goods, in case the vouchers are, for example, of food pass where supply is not identifiable at the time of issue of voucher, in that case the date of redemption of voucher will be the time of supply. If supply is identifiable at the time of issue of voucher, then date of issue of voucher will be the time of supply. Then in case of residual cases and in case of interest, late fee, penalty for delayed payment of consideration, the time of supply will be the date on which supplier receives such addition in value. Now we'll discuss time of supply of services under forward charge. In case of determination of time of supply of services under forward charge, first we will check whether the invoice is issued within the time specified, that is the last date of issue of invoice under section 31 subsection 2. If the invoice is issued within the time limit, then for determining time of supply we will consider 3 dates: date of issue of invoice, second, date on which payment is recorded in the books of account of the supplier, and the third one, the date on which payment is credited to the supplier's bank account. If the invoice is not issued within the specified time limit, then to determine the time of supply we will consider 3 dates. Here the last date of issue of invoice, second, the date on which payment is recorded in the books of accounts, and the third one is date on which payment is credited to the supplier's bank account. All the earliest date of all 3 will be the time of supply. For example, here the marriage hall was fixed and the advance of rupees 25,000 was paid on 15th October. On 20th October, receipt voucher issued for rupees 25,000. On 30th November, the marriage ceremony took place in the hall. On 14th December, the invoice was issued for balance 75,000, indicating and adjusting the advance paid earlier, and on 31st December, the balance payment was received. Now, for determining time of supply under reverse charge, we will consider the first is the date of issue of invoice, the date of payment recorded in the books of account, and the date on which payment is credited in the supplier's bank account. Here we will not consider the date on which we receive the advance and the date of issue of receipt voucher. The ceremony took place on 30th November, invoice issued on 14th December, and the payment was received on 31st December. Here in this case, we'll consider 2 dates, 14th December and 31st December. The earlier is the 14th December, so that will be the time of issue of supply. In case if time of supply is can't be determined by any one of the method, the date on which the recipient record that service in his books of accounts, that will be the time of supply. For example, investigation shows that ABC and company carried out service of cleaning and repairs of tanks in an apartment complex, for which Apartment Owners Association showed a payment in cash on 4th April to them against work of this description. Here the dates of work are not cleared from the records of ABC and company. So in this case the time of supply will be 4th April. In case of time of supply of services under reverse charge, will consider again three dates: the date on which payment is recorded in the books of accounts of recipient of service, the date on which payment is debited from the bank account of recipient of service, and 61st day from issue of invoice by the supplier. And the earliest date will be the time of supply. For example, Mr. A provides legal services as an advocate to Mr. B, which fall under reverse charge basis. On 10th April, the services are provided to Mr. B. On 12th April, Mr. A issues an invoice to Mr. B. On 10th July, the payment is made by Mr. B through a check and recorded in his books of accounts. On 15 July 2019, the payment debited from Mr. B's account. Here, while determining time of supply, again we will consider three dates. One is the date on which payment is recorded. Here the payment is recorded in the books of account on 10th July. The payment is debited on 15 July and 61st day from the issue of invoice. So if we will calculate 61st day from 12th April, it will be 12th June. So in this case, three dates: 12th June, 10th July and 15th July. The earliest is the 12th June. In this case, the time of supply will be 12th June. If the supplier is located outside India, in that case, for determining time of supply, will consider two dates. One, the date on which payment is received, and the date on which payment is recorded in the books of account, and the earlier date will be the time of supply. For example, on May 4th, a German company issues email informing its associate company ABC Limited of the cost of technical services provided to E. On July 2, ABC transfers the amount to the account of German company. Here May 4 will be the time of supply. In case of vouchers of time of services, the same rule will be applied as goods. If the service is identified from the voucher, in that case time of supply will be the date when voucher is issued. If the services are not identified, in that case the date of redemption will be the time of supply. In case of residual or late payment, late fee, the same rule will be applicable. The time of supply will be the date on which the supplier receives such addition in value. Thank you very much.